Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the dangers of being a moderate. Moderates will be the death of this country, today's version of a moderate. Before we get too far into this, I want to just go ahead and say that if you equate Democrats with leftists and Republicans as rightists, and you think the middle is between the two, you've already lost the plot. And the reason you've lost the plot is because of moderates. You can ask our European viewers. I'm sure that they will be more than happy to explain to you that the United States does not have a viable leftist party. It doesn't exist. There are a few Democrats who cross center and go into leftist territory on a few issues, but the Democratic Party as a whole is slightly to the right. This is clearly exemplified in their foreign policy. They're not leftists. Okay, so how did this happen? It's easy. And now that the right wing, the far right, has figured this out, it's terrifying. Because they understand how it's working. And now they're exploiting it. The moderate of today, rather than holding to a moderate position, is attempting to find compromise, to be the peacemaker, to find that ever-elusive middle ground. Let me show you how this works. Pretend for a moment I am a right-wing extremist. Let's commit ethnic cleansing. I don't like all these brown people. We got to get rid of them. A moderate position is, whoa. No. And if you do that, we're going to have to resist you with violence. The other extreme is not resisting ethnic cleansing. That's the moderate. That should be the default. The other extreme is, just for suggesting this, you're already in crosshairs. Those are the extremes. The moderate position is no, we do not kill people, forcibly remove people based on their ethnicity. We are a nation of immigrants. There should be no ethnic supremacy. It shouldn't occur here. It does, but it shouldn't. That should be the default. It's not. It's not. Why? Because the right wing has made wilder and wilder claims. And it's moved that discussion thanks to the moderates, who don't hold fast to their principles. They attempt to find that middle ground. The moderates of today are tolerating positions that would have been unthinkable in the 1980s. The idea of a militarized border in the U.S. during the height of the Cold War would have been unthinkable. In fact, a right-wing president spoke out against it. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And the nation cheered. Why? Because that's a moderate position. But today, you have the Democratic Party. They're throwing bones to a far right-wing administration, and they're using a different qualifier to target people. Rather than saying, oh, well, we're going to get rid of brown people, well, we're going to target people based on immigration status, and if you cross a line in the sand legally, asylum seeking is legal. It doesn't matter how many times the president says it isn't. It is. We're going to take your kids away and turn them over to people who will sexually abuse them. This is not a moderate position. This is the position of a monster. But in the interest of chasing those moderate votes, who are so easily swayed by trying to find the middle ground between extreme positions, the Democrats move further and further to the right. And that's what's happened. You take it to the next step. Well, let's commit genocide. The default, the moderate position, is no, of course not. And if you attempt it, we will resist you with violence. You're talking about murdering people. The moderate position of today, well, can we just kill some of them? trying to find that middle ground. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It is so dangerous that the moderate conservatives have lost the plot completely. You look at the memes that are shared on patriotic pages that appeal to the moderate conservative. You know, there's the typical snowflake jokes and stuff like that, and there's the ever-present meme that compares today's man with the man of the 1940s. And there's always the joke, you know, well, they wouldn't be able to handle it. They wouldn't be able to handle it. They wouldn't be able to handle storming the beaches of Normandy. That's what the generation of men in the 40s did. Yeah, they did. To kill fascists. To kill fascists. That's why they did it. They stormed the beaches. They got in gliders. They jumped out of airplanes. To kill fascists. Never forget that part. And those same pages, without any hint of irony, share ultra far right wing fascist ideology. Because the moderate conservative has moved further and further to the right. They talk about the greatest generation, and they've betrayed it. We've come to the time when the moderate conservative stands up and becomes a volunteer safety advocate for Nazis. Well, you know, they're just expressing their beliefs. The greatest generation? Yeah. 3 Nazis walk into a bar, they don't get up. The moderate position, both moderate liberals and moderate conservatives, are moving dangerously far to the right in the attempt to find that middle ground. There are thousands of reports of child sexual abuse in what amounts to concentration camps. Children ripped from their parents and turned over to people who abuse them or allow them to be abused. And the nation is silent. Why? Because that's the moderate position. I mean, you know, they really should have done it legally. It is legal. That's the other scary part about this. The far right, they've realized that because the average moderate does not research on their own and they just attempt to find the middle ground, they can make insane claims. And they know they won't be researched. They won't be fact-checked. Claiming asylum is legal. Crossing the border without authorization to claim asylum, it's literally in the law. They can claim asylum at a port of entry, which is being blocked now. They're telling them that they can't come in and that they need to go get on a list in violation of our own laws. Or you can claim it once you're inside the country. And there's a specific part of it that says your immigration status doesn't matter. That's actually the law. So no, crossing a line in the sand does not warrant having your children taken and raped. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm an extremist. Moderates in this country need to get their act together. They need to get their act together. They need to sit down and think about what their morals truly are, what they truly believe society's ethics should be. Are we a nation of ethnic cleansers? Are we a nation that enables child sexual abuse? Is that what we are? Is that moderate? What's the next compromise? Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.